Nvidia's new RTX Pro GPUs, transforming AI workstations. Nvidia announced two new professional GPUs, the RTX Pro 4000 small form factor SFF and the RTX Pro 2000. Built on its Blackwell architecture, the new GPUs are aimed at delivering high-performance AI and graphics capabilities in compact desktop and workstation deployments. The RTX Pro 4000 SFF and RTX Pro 2000 represent a pivotal shift in workstation-class GPU design, bringing Blackwell-class AI acceleration and advanced ray tracing into 70W small form factor cards that fit existing enterprise footprints. By delivering up to 2.5x AI throughput and 1.7x ray tracing uplift over their predecessors in the same thermal and power envelope, these GPUs enable AI inference, model fine-tuning, and high-end 3D workloads in locations where rack space, power budgets, and cooling headroom are fixed, said Sanchit Gogia, Chief Analyst and CEO at Greyhound Research. The new RTX Pro series compresses enterprise-grade AI capability into a format that can be integrated without electrical rewiring or space retrofits. This creates new options for CIOs managing latency-sensitive or compliance-bound workloads, such as medical imaging, engineering simulation, or financial modeling, to run them entirely within office workstations, added Gogia. As quoted in Network World, in an article authored by Nitty Single published on August 12, 2025. Beyond the media quote, our view in full. Press for time? You can focus solely on the Greyhound flashpoints that follow. Each one distills the full analysis into a sharp, executive-ready takeaway, combining our official standpoint, validated through Pulse data from ongoing CXO trackers, and grounded in field notes from real-world advisory engagements. Enterprise impact of RTX Pro 4000 SFF and RTX Pro 2000 beyond specs. Greyhound Flashpoint. The RTX Pro 4000 SFF and RTX Pro 2000 represent a pivotal shift in workstation-class GPU design, bringing Blackwell-class AI acceleration and advanced ray tracing into 70W small form factor cards that fit existing enterprise footprints. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 58% of CIOs globally cite space and power optimization as a critical barrier to deploying high-performance AI acceleration outside the data center. By delivering up to 2.5 AI throughput and 1.7 ray tracing uplift over their predecessors in the same thermal and power envelope, these GPUs directly resolve that constraint, enabling AI inference, model fine-tuning, and high-end 3D workloads in locations where rack space, power budgets, and cooling headroom are fixed. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, the step change lies not in isolated benchmark gains, but in deployment elasticity. The new RTX Pro series compresses enterprise-grade AI capability into a format that can be integrated without electrical rewiring or space retrofits. This creates new options for CIOs managing latency-sensitive or compliance-bound workloads, such as medical imaging, engineering simulation, or financial modeling, to run them entirely within office workstations. By combining larger GDDR7 memory footprints with lower precision AI compute, FP4, FP8, and ECC reliability, these GPUs enable the handling of significantly larger models and datasets locally, while sustaining accuracy. The outcome is a higher tempo of iteration and reduced dependence on remote resources, achieved without destabilizing the operational environment. Greyhound Pulse. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 42% of enterprise technology leaders now target AI-at-desk capability by 2026, driven by the dual imperatives of data sovereignty and faster time to insight. The performance uplift from these GPUs is translating into tangible productivity gains in design, analytics, and simulation teams, with workloads such as generative AI-based prototyping, complex rendering, and interactive simulation showing 1.5 to 2.5 faster completion times over prior generation cards. The ability to keep such workloads in-house is shifting procurement discussions from whether to invest in AI acceleration to how widely to deploy it across departments. Greyhound Fieldnotes. Technology teams deploying small form factor AI GPUs at scale must not assume that lower TDP equates to negligible infrastructure risk. Even compact accelerators can create cumulative load spikes that trip building-level power management systems when multiple units run at full draw. Before rollout, conduct a staged stress test across representative workstations to map actual peak draw and coordinate with facilities to ensure adequate electrical provisioning. Build in a policy for staggered job scheduling or load distribution to avoid unplanned throttling during critical workloads. Competitive positioning in the professional GPU market. Greyhound Flashpoint. The RTX Pro 4000 SFF and RTX Pro 2000 strengthen incumbency in professional GPUs by combining high-efficiency Blackwell architecture with a mature AI software stack. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 51% of CIOs rank software ecosystem maturity above raw silicon performance when shortlisting AI acceleration hardware. By delivering advanced Tensor Core capabilities, expanded memory bandwidth, and out-of-the-box integration with the dominant AI development frameworks, these GPUs extend advantage in enterprise-ready AI workloads, particularly in segments where compactness and plug-and-play deployment are decisive. Greyhound Standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, the defining moat is integration depth. While raw performance metrics can be matched in certain use cases by alternative silicon, the breadth of model compatibility, optimized libraries, and workflow portability on this platform remains unmatched in the enterprise context. For CIOs, this reduces time to productivity and eliminates many of the hidden costs of porting models or retraining teams to adopt different programming toolchains. In an environment where AI projects are increasingly measured by speed to operationalization, that software advantage has strategic weight equal to or greater than incremental hardware gains. Greyhound Pulse. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 63% of AI-active enterprises select GPUs based on compatibility with their existing AI toolchains rather than peak benchmark performance. The inertia created by entrenched development pipelines means a car that slots seamlessly into current workflows delivers a higher return than one that requires re-engineering. In the compact GPU class, the RTX Pro 4000 SFF's ability to handle larger models and mix precision inference while maintaining backward compatibility positions it as a low-friction upgrade path for teams already invested in accelerated AI development. Greyhound Fieldnotes, for technology teams evaluating alternatives, calculate not only acquisition cost, but also the engineering hours required to port and optimize existing models and pipelines. A lower-priced GPU with limited ecosystem alignment can consume more budget in developer time than it saves in hardware spend. Incorporate software stack compatibility checks into procurement criteria and pilot on live workloads to capture hidden transition costs before making platform shifts. Feasibility of on-premises AI with compact GPUs. Greyhound Flashpoint. These GPUs translate the aspiration of localized AI into an operational reality. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 39% of CIOs now prioritize distributed AI infrastructure to balance cloud spend with workload control. The RTX Pro 4000 SFF and 2000 enable inference, fine-tuning, and moderate-scale training in standard office workstations, mitigating the need for dedicated AI racks and delivering AI capability to teams that were previously reliant on centralized or cloud resources. Greyhound Standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, compact GPUs of this class expand the scope of AI that can be handled entirely on-premises without sacrificing user accessibility. They are particularly suited to stable, repeatable workloads in regulated or IP-sensitive environments, from healthcare image segmentation to legal document NLP, where both compliance and latency considerations dictate local execution. While they cannot displace large-scale clusters for foundational model training, they provide CIOs with a versatile instrument for hybridizing AI operations and reducing exposure to cloud capacity volatility. Greyhound Pulse. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 44% of mid to large enterprises are structuring AI deployments in a hybrid topologies by 2027, with baseline inference and high-frequency prototyping handled locally and elastic cloud resources reserved for burst or scale-out needs. The availability of compact GPUs with serious AI acceleration is accelerating the shift as organizations can right-size local capacity without overcommitting capital to oversized infrastructure. Greyhound Fieldnotes. Before large-scale adoption, technology teams should audit environmental controls alongside compliance and security requirements. In legacy office or lab spaces, verify that cooling and airflow are sufficient for sustained AI workloads, even at lower wattages. Where regulatory constraints drive localization, pair GPU deployment with data governance measures, such as model access controls and encrypted storage, to ensure the move on-prem also strengthens security posture. Balancing cloud GPU costs with workstation investments. Greyhound Flashpoint. For CIOs confronting unpredictable GPU rental bills, the RTX Pro 4000 SFF and 2000 offer a path to convert variable cloud expenditure into a predictable capital asset. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 47% of CIOs are modeling the total cost crossover point between continuous cloud, rental, and on-prem GPU investment for sustained AI workloads, with many identifying break-even horizons under 2 years for stable inference-heavy applications. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, the viability of on-prem GPU investment hinges on workload profile. High volume, steady-state inference, or iterative model refinement benefits from in-house acceleration, reducing exposure to metered cloud charges and data egress fees. Conversely, sporadic or highly variable workloads still favor the elasticity of cloud infrastructure. The strategic posture for most enterprises will be hybrid. Maintain local GPU capacity for the predictable core and reserve cloud for the unpredictable edge cases. Greyhound Pulse. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 32% of enterprises that invested in on-prem AI hardware achieved operational break-even within 18 months, particularly when the workloads were both predictable and data-sensitive. Another 21% reported underutilization of local assets, typically due to poor workload matching or insufficient organizational readiness, highlighting the need for robust capacity planning before capital deployment. Greyhound Fieldnotes. Technology teams should build TCO models that include not just purchase price, but also depreciation, maintenance, and expected utilization rates. Simulate multiple workload scenarios to determine the optimal balance between owned and rented compute. Implement monitoring from day one to track actual utilization, and be prepared to adjust workloads or reallocate GPUs internally to keep them operating at economically viable levels. Skills, infrastructure, and organizational readiness. Greyhound Flashpoint. Compact GPUs remove physical barriers to adoption, but not the organizational ones. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 54% of CIOs identify skills and integration gaps as the primary obstacle to realizing the full benefit of AI acceleration hardware. Without concurrent investment in people, processes, and infrastructure, the return on hardware will be throttled. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, deploying AI GPUs at scale requires readiness in 3 domains: human capability, software integration, and facilities adaptation. AI-optimized DevOps, MLOps processes, and familiarity with GPU-specific toolchains are essential for efficient utilization. Infrastructure teams must ensure that power, cooling, and data throughput can sustain the workloads. Beyond the technical, governance processes must evolve to manage AI projects as operational assets, with clear accountability for performance, security, and compliance. Greyhound Pulse. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 41% of enterprises underestimate the lead time required to integrate new AI hardware into production pipelines, resulting in delayed ROI. Cross-functional planning. Uniting IT, facilities, and line of business stakeholders from the outset shortens this ramp-up and mitigates the risk of stranded capacity. Greyhound Fieldnotes. Technology teams should run pre-deployment readiness workshops covering power/cooling audits, driver and framework compatibility checks, and skills mapping for GPU operation and maintenance. Identify and close skills gaps in CUDA, AI frameworks, and GPU performance tuning. Establish a structured onboarding program for developers and data scientists to ensure new hardware translates quickly into a live business impact. AI workloads and use cases for Blackwell SFF GPUs. Greyhound Flashpoint. The RTX Pro 4000 SFF and 2000 bring Blackwell's AI and graphics capabilities to industries and workflows where form factor constraints once forced compromises. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 46% of AI-active enterprises in design, engineering, and media are prioritizing compact GPU deployments to embed advanced compute closer to their creative and analytical talent. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, the architectural mix of high-throughput tensor cores, expanded memory bandwidth, and efficient ray tracing units makes these GPUs ideal for generative AI, real-time simulation, and complex 3D visualization in constrained environments. Sectors ranging from healthcare imaging and industrial inspection to architectural design and media production can now achieve interactive performance on workloads that previously demanded remote or data center scale infrastructure. Greyhound Pulse. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 35% of AI-enabled design and engineering teams cite immediate visual or analytical feedback as a decisive productivity factor, a need poorly served by high-latency cloud pipelines. Local Blackwell GPUs and compact workstations directly satisfy this demand, allowing professionals to iterate and decide at the speed of thought. Greyhound Fieldnotes. Technology teams introducing GPU acceleration into distributed creative or analytical workflows must plan for orchestration complexity. Decentralized compute can boost throughput, but may require adjustments in asset version control, job scheduling, and performance monitoring to prevent fragmentation. Invest in workflow management tools and training to ensure the performance gains are matched by operational coherence across teams. Analyst in focus. Sanchit Gogia. Sanchit Gogia, or SVG as he is popularly known, is a globally recognized technology analyst, innovation strategist, digital consultant, and board advisor. SVG is the chief analyst, founder and CEO of Greyhound Research, a global, award-winning technology research, advisory, consulting, and education firm. Greyhound Research works closely with global organizations, their CXOs, and the board of directors on technology and digital transformation decisions. SVG is also the founder and CEO of the House of Greyhound, an eclectic venture focusing on interdisciplinary innovation. Copyright policy. All content contained on the Greyhound Research website is protected by copyright law and may not be reproduced, distributed, transmitted, displayed, published, or broadcast without the prior written permission of Greyhound Research, or, in the case of third-party materials, the prior written consent of the copyright owner of that content. You may not alter, delete, obscure, or conceal any trademark, copyright, or other notice appearing in any Greyhound Research content. We request our readers not to copy Greyhound Research content and not republish or redistribute them, in whole or partially, via emails or republishing them in any media, including websites, newsletters, or intranets. We understand that you may want to share this content with others, so we've added tools under each content piece that allow you to share the content. If you have any questions, please get in touch with our community relations team at connect@thoffer.com.